And good Monday morning, everyone. This is the afternoon forecast from Wuthering Heights, Roger Hill, and the weather brief. Of course, big picture right now. Interesting. We got another tropical system that's off the coast of basically north of Colombia, and this is going to be developing and spinning up to a tropical storm. Looks like we have a tropical depression, and then a Cat 1. Tropical Depression 18 eventually will spin up to greater than 74 mile per hour sustained winds and continue as a Cat 1 before it begins to fall apart and head toward the Louisiana coast. Looks like a blob of rain. We're going to see high precipitable water and eventually get pulled into this region. But a lot of the movement going back and forth. We're going to take a look at that here in a second. Right now, only rain showers that I've seen hitting the ground. A couple sprinkles mainly north of the Canadian border. There could be one or two with these little spritzy showers that work on through. We have a big ridge. This ridge of higher pressure is deflecting most of the moisture to the north. Eventually, this is going to move through as a warm front, and we're going to get into some warmer airs. We're starting to see these temperatures begin to move into the region, and as you can see, temperatures basically in the 60s and even some 70s down here. A lot of severe weather off to the west in parts of Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and so forth and so on. Big blobs of moisture working over the top of this ridge of higher pressure. Well, eventually, that's going to work through the region. The dynamic setup with the upper level jet, you can see a big full amplitude trough. Typically anything that's this sharp like this is usually coincides to severe weather. So we have a big ridge of higher pressure on the east coast, very settled conditions, and it's been relatively dry. We do have the jet stream that goes over the top of the ridge. At 500 hectopascals thicknesses, we're looking at, again, the lifting mechanisms and upper level vorticity, positive vorticity, spinning up potential for clouds and rain showers. We do have the moisture that's worked in out ahead of it. This is 700 hectopascal, about 10,000 feet, and you can see kind of a warm front here. This is going to be deflecting and working its way to the north and east. And then at 850, this is about the top of Mount Mansfield. You can see the lifting mechanisms remain to the west, so dry below that high-level cloud layer, mid-level cloud layer. And then at 850, you can just see that some pretty good flow coming in, bringing in that moisture around this area of higher pressure, which has been kind of persistent with the southeast ridge or area of higher pressure, bringing us basically dry weather for September into all of October and now into the early part of November. But we do have this influx of moisture that's working in across the Gulf coastal regions, and of course we do have tropical system eventually that will get down here. A couple of hours ago, looking from Burlington, this is a little earlier on this morning, you can still see a lot of high and mid-level overcast sky. And looking at the top of Mount Mansfield, we don't have any snow on the ground, and this is the Worcester Range. In the distant here, you can see the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Okay, quick look at the modeling here. First, as I run it back just a little bit here, this is this morning at 8 o'clock. This is 11 o'clock. Take that back. That's 10 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock this afternoon. And again, precipitation, try to make a run into Vermont. It gets a little bit better chance as we get into the nighttime hours tonight. Bit of a pressure gradient here with a good south to southwesterly wind. So channeling winds across Lake Champlain. Not super strong, but gusty. During the day tomorrow, this is valid at about 10 o'clock in the morning hours on Tuesday. That frontal boundary lifts to the north, so conditions improve and dry out. And that's the last of any kind of sprinkles or rain shower activity, as that ridge is just going to work and continuing to deflect a lot of that moisture up to the north of us. But eventually all good things come to an end. Not necessarily a good thing. We do need the rain. And we're going to see this frontal boundary begin to push in some precipitation into the northern part of Vermont on Wednesday morning. It'll be with us for most of the day on Wednesday into Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. And then eventually, as we get into Thursday morning, this is going to be drying up and exiting. But nope, a little bit of colder air is going to work into the region. So we have mild conditions, and then that changes up to colder as we get into the day on as early as Thursday. We're not talking about a big drop in temperature, but daytime highs basically 50 to 55. And then once we get this another ridge of higher pressure established here, we're looking at this 1028 hectopascal surface high beginning to expand to the north and east. All the short waves are way up in parts of Canada, so that is a significant factor here once we get a little bit further along. Looking at the 0Z data, you can see that once we get into Thursday night, this tropical system is going to be trying to head toward Louisiana or Texas or somewhere to the western Gulf. By the time we get into this coming weekend, we get another area of higher pressure building into the region and some pretty fine weather. But just ahead of that, you can see a little bit of this Alberta Clipper is going to come make a dip and provide us potentially with some mountain rain showers changing over to snow showers potentially as we get into the day on Saturday, just beyond the period. Here's the MBM temperature schematic, excuse me, the NDFD. Daytime high today, nice jump in temperature, not much of an overnight low as those temperatures make a nice rise. We turn the corner and then we're back into more seasonable temperatures. This is just a little bit above seasonal norms, not by very much though, and then we'll see freezing nights return. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.